G'day Reefers, I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Welcome to Gallery Aquatica TV. Today we're back at Salisbury Reef and we're going to be doing an upgrade on the skimmer of this system. Now there's something a little bit special about the skimmer that we're installing. I can't wait to show you, but first of all let's show you the skimmer that we picked out for Salisbury Reef. The skimmer that we've chosen for Salisbury Reef is the Octo Regal 150S. Now the S refers to space saver, so it has the pump in the body of the skimmer. It also has a DC pump, and so you can control the amount of flow that the pump is drawing into the skimmer. There's also a float valve, so if the skimmer over skims, it will cut the power to the pump and you won't have a huge mess. They're an awesome skimmer. They're a skimmer that we use on a heap of tanks, but there is something a little bit special about exactly the way we're going to be setting this one up today. But we'll start by putting it together and showing you the 150 Regal. So this is how you would typically run the Regal 150S, and it's pretty simple in that you've got a valve which allows you to control the height of the bubbles in the skimmer. So you want to sort of optimize your bubbles simming around the top around about here. You've got your air intake coming through here with a muffler. There's a diffuser inside and your controller for your DC pump. Now, there are a couple of parts we haven't used just yet, and that's mainly the drain. You can actually hook up a drain to drain the cup, but I don't typically use that. And we also have our flow valve that sits in the cup. But before we look at that, I want to show you the special feature and the way that we're going to be setting this up on the Salisbury display, because it is going to be something that I've never done before. And this is it. And what we have here is a CO2 dryer. Now, CO2 dryers effectively scrub the CO2 out of the air that goes into the skimmer, and by reducing the amount of CO2 that goes into your tank, you actually help to keep your pH nice and high. Now, you may say that CO2 scrubbing is not a new thing. In fact, it's something that we've done many, many times on many, many tanks. However, there's something a little bit different about this CO2 scrubber, and it is the fact that it is a recirc CO2 scrubbing system, and by that it actually reuses the air from the skimmer, and so you're not actually burning up the CO2 media as quickly as you would in a normal CO2 scrubber. And whilst that might not make a lot of sense, I'll set it up on this one here and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So this is going to be our reaction chamber. We're going to put our CO2 scrubbing media in here in a sec, but this is a really interesting part of it. Now this is actually a customized lid for this purpose, and it's designed for the 150 models, and we'll just open it and have a bit of a look. Okay, so we take off our old lid, new lid goes on, we go from our scrubber, and it's quite an interestingly large diameter hose, and to our special nozzle and a special lid for our special cup, and then we go from one of these nozzles to the Venturi, the intake. So we're not actually going to use this one here today, like so. Alright, so now we're just going to put our CO2 scrubbing media into the reaction chamber. Okay, now up here we have this little Y piece with two ball valves on the end of each of the outlets, and what we're going to do, we're going to have the outlet which goes to the venturi as open, and the other one is going to be closed. Now the idea in the future of having two is that if your pH becomes too high, you can actually manipulate the amount of fresh air that's coming in, and so it will make it possible to fine-tune your pH to a certain degree. So let's have a look at exactly how this system works and how it's going to maximize the efficiency of our CO2 scrubbing media. So let's have a look at the way air passes through this recirculation system. So the air from the protein skimmer, which accumulates in the cup, is actually pulled down this larger hose into the bottom of our reaction chamber. It then passes up through the media, removing the CO2 out of the air, and the air then comes up and it comes out of this one, this Y piece, and is drawn down into the venturi. So it is then being brought into the protein skimmer, mixing with the water, and because there's less CO2, there's going to be less of a negative effect on the pH of the tank. The water, or the air, then passes through the skimmer and comes back up to the cup to then go through the same process again. So you're not pulling in air from the atmosphere into your CO2 scrubbing media, which means you'll get significantly more use out of a smaller amount. So let's put this system on the tank, and we'll talk about the pH and the Reef Factory pH monitor that we have on the Salisbury display. So we have our Reef Factory pH monitor on the Salisbury display tank, and it's been running at around about 8.1, 8.2 fairly consistently for the last few weeks. And we really want to see if we have a big improvement with our CO2 scrubber, our recirc system with the skimmer. I think it's fair to say that the previous skimmer was a little bit underrated for the tank. So the combination of a good skimmer as well as the recirc CO2 absorption system, I think is going to make a big difference, but we'll be able to see the results on our Reef Factory pH meter. All right, so I'm going to put the skimmer in this section here, and I'll probably just sit the media, the CO2 scrubbing media up here, but let's give it a go. Alright, so I've just turned on the skimmer. I'll turn it right down because it's probably going to over skim. And one of the things I had to do with the skimmer, the previous skimmer, was I had to actually mount it up because the depth of water is a little bit high in there. And I think we'll have to do the same with this one because we are actually looking at it being on the lowest of the settings. And I think it's going to be a bit high. But let me just see if I can open up the valve anymore. Okay, all right, here we go. The valve wasn't open fully. So I'm going to open it all the way up, and then I'll turn up the flow a little bit. Okay. All right, turn up the flow. That's on the second increment. This is the third of 5. All right, this is the 4th. One of the things I love about the Octo skimmers, I mean, you can see how white and frothy the skimmer is. You know, they're beautiful, beautiful protein skimmers. And I do believe that the addition of the CO2 recirc scrubbing system is going to really sort of make them an extra special option for people for their reef tanks. Now, I think I'm going to be able to run this at full strength without over skimming. I might just put it down 1 to be sure. But there you have it. That is our Octo Regal 150S with the special lid for the cup and the CO2 scrubbing system. We've got our pH at 8.17 now, so we'll come back in future episodes of Gallery Aquatica TV and we'll show you exactly how much skimmer pulls out and exactly how it affects the pH. It's fair to say that our Waterbox LX display here at Gallery Aquatica Salisbury has come a long way, but there's still heaps more that we want to do to it. Upgrades that we want to make to the equipment, We also want to put more corals in, more fish, and really make this an amazing tank for people to come in and have a look at. We certainly want to upgrade the lighting system. I've got some plans to put the new AI blades in front and behind of the current Hydra 52s, and we also have some other ideas that we're working on. But we'll come back in future episodes of Gallery Aquatica TV to show you how the Salisbury display is tracking. But that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Happy reefing! That's it for this week's episode of Gallery Aquatica TV. Don't forget to like and comment on all our videos and subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned to Gallery Aquatica TV for more exciting episodes to come. I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Happy reefing!